Good morning. All right, we have a, 1 second, guys. We have a reversal here. It's too early to, good morning, to even imagine that it's going to hold. And I truly hope it does not and goes down. That was the scenario that best fits a meaningful reversal and if it does happen, for a move to retest some resistance up above. And while it would stall here, most likely, ideally, we'd be looking for it to come up into this area, where it's obviously a much stronger area of resistance up here. So what I'd like to see, and for selfish reasons, of course, is to see prices come down here into this area and then form a reversal, ideally taking out this low. So we'll see where this ends up here today. The way things are set up here right now, it really doesn't present any kind of an opportunity until we really see some kind of a reversal here. And if this is what it's going to be, we'll decide near the end of the day here as to what to do with it, if anything. Clearly, and again, this is the future, so we'll look at the spiders. They don't look like this because it's not a 24-hour chart, but, you know, this opening here and this big giant bar clearly, you know, after the bottoming tail bar tells us that there was strong buying in this area. Ideally, as I said, I'd like to see it come down to retest through here and, you know, taking out some stops and creating more uncertainty, moving our internals to a deeper level of bullishness. So we'll see where today ends. And you know, you can see on the, 1 second. The intraday time frame, this move up right now is totally meaningless, because what we need to see is alignment between these time frames. And like I said, it's just too early. Prices, you know, coming down to the bottom of the area, a minor retracement back up, maybe 50% or so eyeballing it, maybe a little bit more. So, you know, as it's starting to pull back here a little bit after the momentum slowed, we'll just have to see where this is going to end up after a half hour or so, whether it can hold on to this. But this reversal here just doesn't do anything for me as far as wanting to initiate any new positions. It's too early. It's a small little reversal bar, so we'll just have to see. Just looking at the spiders, it's just going to be, let's see here, 257, 685. You know, a gap up that I think at this point gets sold into. That's my bias as to what I want to happen. So I got to be careful not getting too attached to that. But, you know, this gap up here just does nothing to negate these two red bars here. And that is really what we want to see. And so looking at the spiders, let's just assume that buyers do step up here. So, you know, when I'm checking the news, the market is up here because China rallied and Italy's some budget relief. What does that mean to us? You know, I don't think much of anything. So, but if this was to be a green day, meaning a close up here, we would have to consider longs at that point where it reversed this topping tail day. And that would really mess up the bullish scenario as far as a bigger move, meaning coming down here and then a reversal and being able to get through this resistance and so on. So we'd have a continuation type of a pattern versus a retest pattern. So continuation being, you know, which would be a higher low at that point and a green bar. And we'd have to go with it, honestly, looking for a move like that and then coming up into this area versus, you know, coming down in a retest pattern, which of course would have some difficulty getting back through here. But because of the internals, that would support the bias that we would get through it. We'd have to sit through some jiggles at that point. Qs, where are they? Same thing, little gap up here, totally meaningless inside of this topping tail body at this point. If it was gapping up here, that would be a different story. So nothing really to go on, even though it's green here at the moment. We got a reversal as it's come down here. So it opened lower overnight and it's come back up into, well, it's actually kind of, a void here as we just look at this. So one of the concepts from TPM is that, so you would look here and say, okay, here's what we call as minor resistance, but price is traded above it and below it. And so I come up with this rule of trading above and below to neutralize that, because many, many years ago, I would look at a chart like this the way most would and do to this day, and I'd be kind of baffled by how did prices continue to rally as if that wasn't there. So with any, way of interpreting price action, you need some rules to do it. Otherwise, you're scattered as to, your consistency as to how things are going to play out based on the price pattern. So after seeing this kind of price action where it's gone through that resistance, I come up with this rule that says if price is traded above and below, it's been neutralized, and consider the possibility and probability that you could go through it because of the price void. Now, you always have to put this concept, as we do with all concepts, in the context of the bigger picture. So while this intraday time frame would suggest the possibility of going up into here because of the void, this pattern is not one that is inviting to get long, especially at this time of the day and point of where this is in relation to that drop. Let's clear that up and go to the Russell. And so this is more of what we're looking for on a retest pattern. This up a little bit inside of this bar, totally meaningless. If it was to negate it and close up here, we'd definitely be considering this for a long. And on a short time to expiration, it would pretty much be a no-brainer for a put spread under here. So we'll have to just see how the day unfolds. The transports, somewhat similar, retesting, a deep move into the low, but again, while it's gapped up here, it's just going sideways, and same kind of situation. We're just going to have to see how this unfolds here throughout the day, whether this can push back up, whether it can even hold here, maybe close with a green day over here. So it's going to be a wait and see as to what happens there. Dow futures, same kind of situation, just not the kind of pattern that we're looking for that would suggest a meaningful move to the upside. Now, if this was to grow and we get a green bar closing up here, we're going to have to go with that. It's not going to be the ideal, but we just have to go with it because that's going to suggest a move up. Bonds are up here a bit. They look like they're going to try and move higher, but in a downtrend. So, this is actually going to be somewhat helpful to the broader equity markets, some relief with bonds going up a bit. So we'll see. And overall, it's just going sideways within a downtrend and isn't along at any stretch. Oil continues to just stabilize and it's going sideways. We'll see if it holds here, or whether it has to come possibly down to test the 200 MA and this prior low. It could hold here, but I just want to take a look at that weekly chart. And it could go either way. You can see the support levels are pretty tight in this area, so it would make sense for this to try and hold somewhere in here. We'll see by tomorrow whether it actually was hold here today or not. And gold continues to hold up. It's down here this morning, but still within the context of this wide range igniting bar to the upside. And look at that volume. And there was no follow through to the red bar. So this price action here continues to be bullish so far, but doesn't give any signal of continuation yet. You can see the tails here on the top, this little one on the bottom, red bars being ignored. So it's just consolidating at this point where this says it's going to continue to go higher. And I mean, it's a pattern that does suggest it's going to continue to go higher. So it's looking pretty good, just not ready to go yet as this consolidation continues. And overall, just looking at some stocks here, AMD catches my eye. Well, that wasn't ugly on Friday. This is where we start with a watch list as to what's moving up or down, and then put it in the context of this pattern. And so this, it's got some resistance here, but it's got a void. Maybe it turned around, and no matter where I look, it's pretty much it says wait and see for more information as to what's going on and whether you can perform a reversal or not. So we see that semiconductors got shellacked there at the end of the week. Hasbro, going lower. I think that was on earnings this morning. And again, repeating, but everything says just wait and see how things are going to unfold here. And that's what I'm going to be doing unless I see something very compelling in the first, 30 minutes or so. All right, Dan, that's about all I have. I know we don't have much as far as opens, but we've been light on purpose because things just haven't set up in a compelling way.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Greg, since I'm taking over right now, if you wouldn't mind logging in as a customer and seeing what Neil's saying here. But yeah, Neil, it was the weekly options trader. And yep, we've been very light. The weekly is flat right now. The advisory letter.
What he's saying, I mean, if he has access to the letter, there's nothing in the system that stops access to the tracking sheet. If you have one, you have the other. There's no anything set up in the back end that would stop. But I'll look.
All right. Open positions. We have an MJ out of the money put spread, far away, the 32s. FL is not looking good, but we have a put spread on that. And that's in the advisory letter. And that's it. Wow. Yeah, we're extremely light. But I have a bunch of gappers to look at today, so it's fine. As Greg was talking, I was watching these pre-markets drift lower. And I don't know if that tail is real. The Qs do not have one like that. But when I first woke up and I saw this bullish pre-market consolidation, I actually had a bullish mindset short term, particularly selling spider puts that expired today over a 30-minute high. And I still will be considering that, but the retracement here is getting weaker and weaker, which is, making that gap not as potent. Qs, they need to hold right here, and then bulls step up at the open. So it was a gap breakout here in the 15-minute chart, went up a little bit. Now it's kind of right back here to the minor support. It needs to hold right here for the bullish case. IWM. I started to put some charts together this morning for our Wednesday MT live show. And one slide I'm making right now, I'm just going to grab these 4 indexes that we just looked at. And I'm going to say rate the quality of these potential W patterns, right? I'm not going to get into it now. Well, we could briefly. I mean, that's a potential W pattern, but we have no reversal bar yet. And it's in a downtrend, and it's relative weakness. Spiders is a mess. Diamonds is a mess. But, you know, again, as Greg said, if we can negate Thursday's bar and close strong, then it's a higher low. You know, these things aren't no-brainers clean. I mean, look at this one back in April. Was this clean? No. Was this one? Was this one? This one was nice rounding bottom. This was a no-brainer one. We were pounding on our put spreads then. Gappers here. I'll start at the bottom and go up. RE, AR, that looks like a buyout to me. Gapping up here to $70. Jeez, that's quite a premium. Nothing to do with that. Whiskey Bravo, gapping up. It's a bullish gap over Friday's high. This would be a short-term put spread. Maybe let's keep an eye on it. 30-minute high. Yandex gapping up, but there's no pattern. Now there's a pattern for a day trade. 30-minute high. Look at that. That's relative strength to the broader market indices, which have been retracing in the last 45 minutes. So for a day trade, look, this is fluid move down, price void. So I like that one. I'll put it in a little window here for a day trade. Momo 32.63. I like the other one better because you don't have as much price void on this one. And you know, these are still swimming upstream. These are damaged daily and weekly. AAXN bearish gap down 55.60. Okay, so this is a nice bearish setup under a 30-minute low. PDD was gapping up to 20. There's no potent reversal yet, and now it's selling off. You know, that's not tier one at all. Look at this thing bobbing around. NVAX, but it's a bullish gap, 1320, way the heck up here. We'll keep an eye on that for a 30-minute high. This is a new marijuana stock. I don't like the way it trades. That looks like it's very light volume. PCG, had this one in my list for a long over Thursday's high. HFC, we have this as a bear call credit spread for Friday. MKC is just strength, no setup to enter. But I like the nice bullish 15-minute close. Walmart, just carryover of strength. Qualcomm, it needs to break out. There's no potent reversal here yet, but I like the weekly. Charlie Foxtrot is a short under, I think I gave it under that bar, 50-60. I'll have to look the exact entry, but Netflix, absolutely nothing to do with that. That was earnings. Remember, I did just sent out a chart of the week video on how we sell those credit spreads after earnings. And look, it's weak. It's weak. No interest. Marijuana stock, no pattern. GE, we're watching. Intel, I think, got an upgrade. No pattern. NBEV, marijuana stock breaking down. Marijuana beverage, no pattern, it broke down. CCJ, I'm watching the monthly here. Marijuana, nothing. Ooh, that one's, wow, that one's weak. All the way, 100% retracement. Cracking. Remember, buy the rumor, sell the news. Microsoft, there's no pattern. Wow, this is, all right, I'm getting a small reversal bar right now on the indexes. This marijuana was relative strength. MJ is the sector, no pattern, bearish retracement. A US diversified marijuana. Now this one I like. If it can get through this, then that's a nice, multi-week bottoming pattern at the 200. Let me set an alarm on that. And in both letters, the advisory letter and the weekly, we put a big watch list, long and short. So we'll go through those together. I'm going to set an alarm at $1.48. No pattern. There's Bitcoin, Facebook. No pattern. MJ, that's a dupe. Cron. No pattern. CGC, no pattern. Amazon, that's holding strong. I mean, the daily's a total mess. Nah, I'm sitting here looking at it to say, well, could we? So it's holding better than the Qs right now. But the Qs are reversing right where they need to, based on that retracement we talked about. Apple, no pattern. It's reversing here, but that's a 100% retracement of the bullish gap. Oh yeah, I had DVAX right here. Yeah, I said it was a bullish gap here. Yep, Alex, over 13 bucks. Yep, it's in my list. It's the pre-market's not clean. But it is a nice gap for sure. I'll watch it. I'll put that in the thumbnail. Tesla, 30-minute high. That's a retest, but it's a retest in a downtrend. But spiders, if it can get through that pre-market resistance, I'll definitely consider a put spread for today. It's like 277, 40. Then we would be looking for selling the 276 puts, or preferably 275.50. but we'll keep an eye on it. And that's it. We finished 3 minutes early. Any questions on trades, on strategy? Now let's take a look at my long watch list that I put in the letter. NIHD, it's bullish. MKC, we already talked about that. Qualcomm, AXP. You know, it's just a watch. Little Goro, Nomad, Save, PG. Synchrony, Gentex. Now look at that. That's a bullish 15-minute chart.